Weight cutting is a massive problem for combat sports and specifically MMA. This is a widely agreed upon issue in combat sports, and I think that it's actually gotten worse as the conversation about weight cutting has grown and gotten more popular. Today, I'm going to talk about how much more weight fighters are cutting even now just compared to 5 years ago. Stick around to hear my thoughts on the problem with weight cutting in the UFC. I'm Wyatt, and this is Fight Society. All right, guys, so I've been doing a little bit of research. After UFC 298, I was very interested to see how much weight these fighters were packing on after weigh-ins before fight night. Now, the California State Athletic Commission flags fighters for putting on too much weight from weigh-ins to weigh-ins to fight night. And they actually release the fight night weights of these fighters. And it is truly astonishing. Now, looking at this article from MMA Junkie, I see here, first off, the main event, featherweight, so 145 pounds. Ilia Topuria weighed in at 144.5 pounds on Friday morning. On Saturday, the day of the fight, he was 167.2. So he gained 16% of his body weight back. And even though weight cutting as a whole is very bad, they do say, even though there's no safe way to cut weight because you're basically dying while you're cutting weight, they do say that about a 10% weight cut is the least harmful. So a 205er cutting, if you were 205 cutting to 85, that'd be about 10% of your body weight, 20 pounds. For these guys, 145 pounds, 10% of your body weight would be 15 pounds, 14 pounds. And that would mean like 160, but you have an extra 8 pounds for Ilia Topuria there. And even for Volkanovski, I didn't realize how much Alex Volkanovski cut weight. I see here that he was 144 pounds on weigh-in day, and then on fight night, he was 166.2. He put on 22 pounds in less than 36 hours. So how much are these guys depleting themselves? Here you have Rob Whittaker he was 185 pounds, 185 and a half on the weigh-ins, and then he was 207, which is a 12% gain, which I guess is not terrible, especially because he's bigger. Paulo Costa put on an insane amount of weight. And I talked about this in a different video when I was talking about potential new weight classes like a 195 and a 75 and a 65 for the UFC. This is why I included Paulo Costa in what would be an 195-pound weight class. Because you see right here, Paulo Costa, weigh-in day, 185 pounds. Fight night, 215. 16% weight gain. He put on 30 pounds in less than 36 hours before that fight. Now, this is astonishing, and it can't be good for your body. And I didn't even consider this. Not only are you putting your body through this, you're putting your body through this and then going and putting your life at risk in a cage and risking permanent injury, permanent brain damage. And weight cutting's a problem. I know that one championship has tried to mitigate this with their hydration testing, but I don't think it's done much. Now, someone that doesn't cut very much weight, Ian Gary, I'm not going to say the Machado. Fuck that. He went from 170 to 180 from weigh-in to fight night, which is only a 6% gain. This is why I put Ian Gary in the potential 165-pound super lightweight where he could fight somebody like Dustin Poirier or Jalen Turner. And then you have somebody like Jeff Neal who could use an extra 5 pounds that he doesn't have to cut. He went from 170 pounds on weigh-in day to 200 pounds. He put on 30 pounds, 18% of his body weight. This was the most weight gained from weigh-in to fight night on UFC 298. That's 18% of his body weight. Same thing, Merab Dvalishvili went from 135 to 156. Henry Cejudo, not as much. He went from 135 to 150. Anthony Hernandez went from 185 to 203. Roman Kopylov went from 185 to 194, so not much there. Zhang Minyang, who is a 205er, he weighed in at 204 and a half. His fight night weight was 230, so he put on 25 pounds. And then the biggest one, one of the most astonishing ones to me was almost as much as Jeff Neal, was Danny Barlow from the UFC 298 prelims. He went from 171 to 197.8, which is also a huge amount of weight gained. Now you guys see how much weight these fighters are cutting before getting into a potentially life-altering cage fight less than 36 hours later. And I found these fight night weights that were released from UFC 232. In UFC 232, let's see where this was. Yeah, so UFC 232 was Jones versus Gustafsson 2 at the Forum. So this was also at California State Athletic Commission, so they released the fight night weights as well. You know, there's some that aren't that are a little crazy, but as a whole, fighters were not cutting as much weight, and this was 2019. Actually, December 29th, 2018. So 6 years ago, about 5.5, 6 years ago. John Jones went from 204 to 222, only an 8.5% increase. Alexander Gustafsson, 204 to 219. That's only a 6.5% increase. Ilir Latifi, 206 to 219, very small. Alexander Volkanovski has been cutting the same amount of weight because because he was on that, Alex Volkanovski was on the main card of that event against Chad Mendes. And I always thought that Chad Mendes was a big featherweight, but I look at it here. Maybe these guys just have weight cutting specialists and nutritionists that make this more doable. But Volkanovski was 166 at UFC 298. That's the same as his fight night weight at UFC 232. And then, you know, there's one that stood out to me. And that was Montel Jackson going from 137, so he missed weight, to 155, which is 14%. But as a whole, you know, the percentage gain, Ryan Hall doesn't even cut weight. That's crazy. He went from 154 to 156. The percentages of weight gained from this card at UFC 232, 7%, 8%, 4.5%, 6%, 4%, 7.5%, 9%. Volkanovski is the only huge weight gain other than Montel Jackson that missed weight, but Volkanovski was the only one that put on a ton of weight. 14% was the most gained on the card, the same as Montel Jackson in terms of percentage. But Amanda Nunes, 7%, Michael Chiesa, 9%, Carlos Condit, 8%, Corey Anderson, 9%, Ilir Latifi, 5.5%. People are cutting way more weight on average than they used to, and this is a problem. Let me know what you guys think. I found this very interesting. Maybe I'll have a weight cutting specialist for an interview on the channel. What do you guys think of weight cutting? Would you like to see everybody fight at their natural weight classes? Because I feel that if they would just cut out weight cutting, everybody weighs in the night of the fight, everyone would perform so much better. And it would be like Sean O'Malley is a 155er, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier are 170 pounders, 175 pounders. The 205ers are heavyweights. The middleweights are light heavyweights. The flyweights are like featherweights. Everybody moving up one or two weight classes are just fighting at their natural weight. That's what seems reasonable to me. It's already a cage fight with a trained killer standing across from you. I feel that there should be an effort to eliminate weight cutting, even though I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, if ever. The same as fighter pay. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that there should be some action taken towards weight cutting? Do you care? Maybe I'm just reaching for straws here. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, but it is taking years off of these fighters' lives on top of the actual fight itself. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below your thoughts on weight cutting. If you like this video and you want more content just like this, click that subscribe button down below. If you want more content from me, go check out my weekly comedy podcast, the Hissyfit podcast, and go check out my personal channel, Wyatt's World. Go watch this suggested video, and I'll see you next time.